Tonight, the latest provincial auditors report reveals the Saskatchewan Health Authoritys yet to launch new payroll system could cost 3 times the initial projection. Also, a Fort Qu'Appelle area farmer with a disability says the lack of easy access of dental coverage is forcing him to go to Mexico. Plus, a special day for some deserving children in Regina.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, December 6th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. Things continue to get more expensive in Saskatchewan, and that includes the Saskatchewan Health Authoritys' new payroll system. That comes from the second half of Saskatchewan's Auditors' annual report today. The new system launched briefly last fall before being abruptly shut down. Now the estimated cost has nearly tripled from its initial estimate. Adam Hunter has the details.
Last fall, the Saskatchewan Health Authority launched its Administrative Information and Management System, or AIMS. But upon launch, it ran into problems and was almost immediately shut down. It was meant to replace 80 existing systems in order to improve data accuracy and reliability. The initial cost in 2018 was pegged at $86 million. But that has ballooned to an estimated $240 million, and the system is still not operational. The auditor is recommending the SHA file a report on why the project failed to get off the ground.
This IT system project implementation has not gone well for the Saskatchewan Health Authority, and they definitely need to do a lessons learned report because we have other significant IT projects that are ongoing in government.
Clement says upon its launch, AIMS had issues with staff scheduling, payroll time entry, and system performance. She says once it is up and running, it will make auditing the SHA much easier. Clement says the SHA needs to let others in government know what went wrong.
What they've learned should be shared with other government agencies because we really hope that this implementation failure doesn't happen again and cost other government agencies and the government as a whole overall as much money as this has.
The health minister says AIMS is still not ready, but he's hopeful it will be launched within the next year.
Based on what happened this time last year, we don't want to rush it. We want to ensure that it's done properly. So I believe that there is back-end testing happening right now by the teams that are working on not only developing but deploying the system. And what we've said to them is when they are confident that through the back-end testing that they feel that it's in a good place to start to launch, then we'd be prepared to do that.
The opposition has been asking questions about AIMS and its rollout for months. It says the project has been mismanaged by the government. And it says the SHA could have spent the extra money it is now spending on AIMS to improve the healthcare system. Adam Hunter, CBC News, Regina.
The auditor's report also looked at the SHA's progress in care homes. It found the Health Authority has made little progress at fixing issues at contracted special care homes in Saskatoon. The audit report looked at how many residents are given antipsychotic medication without a diagnosis. It found 13 of the 15 contracted care homes were giving out too much to residents. The report says the percent of people receiving medication without a diagnosis has worsened since an audit in 2019.
This is similar to our findings in 2017 and 2019. In fact, we found the results for special care homes in the Saskatoon area worsened since 2019 for 3 performance measures. For example, the number of residents in special care homes on antipsychotic drugs without a diagnosis failed to meet expectations. This is often an indicator that special care home staff are chemically managing their residents.
A recent report from the Canadian Institute of Health Information shows this is not just a Saskatoon issue. Saskatchewan has the highest percent among provinces of inappropriate use of antipsychotics in long-term care homes. Saskatchewan's Premier continues to defend the cost of attending the COP28 climate summit in Dubai. Taxpayers spent $765,000 for a pavilion space. And if you're wondering what that got us, we sent our camera to check it out. Moe says he is happy with the engagement this pavilion has received. There is a list of 55 delegates representing companies and universities who are using the space. And it's hosting several plenary sessions each day. People are talking about sustainability practices in mining, agriculture, and energy production. Our reporter in Dubai spoke to Moe, and he says he has no buyer's remorse.
None at all. Actually, he's working better than planned. And listen, this isn't something we do each and every year. This is something that we're able to do this year because of the relationship that we have formed with United Arab Emirates, and they're not only their government, but many of the individuals that are involved in the community here in not only Dubai but Abu Dhabi. And so it isn't something that we would be able to do each and every year, but we're certainly fortunate that we have that relationship.
While this pavilion cost more than $750,000, the province did spend another $238,000 on advertising at Dubai's airport and metro. That does not include travel costs. The opposition NDP has criticized the price tag. The Bank of Canada is standing pat on its trend-setting interest rate, holding it at 5%. It's the third time in a row the bank has held the rate steady. It says there is encouraging evidence that higher rates are restraining spending and helping bring inflation down. Canada's economic growth has slowed considerably over the past year, and inflation is now running at 3.1%. The bank says it's willing to continue rate hikes if inflation moves up again. Analysts, though, widely expect it will start lowering rates as early as next spring. A double-arm amputee from Fort Qu'Appelle is in desperate need of expensive dental implants. But the retired farmer says getting financial help from the Saskatchewan government is nearly impossible. So he started shopping for teeth in Mexico. As Jesse Anton reports, disability advocates say it shouldn't come to that.
Murray Bedell uses his teeth every day to do things like use a phone. Or to put on his jacket. He's been doing this since he lost both of his arms in a farming accident in 1975. Bedell's dentist warned him his teeth would eventually wear down and fall out. And this past summer, that began to happen.
So then it got me really thinking, what am I going to do?
Bedell and his wife Janet began researching dental implants, a more durable and accessible option for him than dentures. Bedell says local dentists gave him estimates around $60,000, and they tried asking the Saskatchewan government for help covering that cost.
It's my health. It's something I need. I'm not looking to be pretty. I'm looking to be functional.
The Ministry of Health tells CBC News dental implants are only covered when they're recommended by a specialist due to tumors or birth defects. Not falling in those categories, the Bedells decided to get the work done in Mexico for roughly $20,000 less.
I felt he was being dealt with like a whole person, not like a mouth with a disability.
But still half your life savings for your teeth.
Yes. It's a big... I told my kids the other day that I was spending their inheritance, and they said, well, that's no problem. They said that you look after yourself.
The Canadian Society for Disability in Oral Health says the lack of coverage is very frustrating and very common across Canada, and many advocates are eager to see how the proposed National Dental Care Plan will help people with disabilities.
Why should someone have to go out of country to receive care that we have skilled individuals here that can provide it, except for the fact that it costs a lot of money?
Back in Fort Qu'Appelle, Bedell says the coverage for his teeth is just as essential as that for his prosthetics.
Why isn't it available? It's just like my arms. I need my arms. I got to have them.
Because Bedell says good oral health isn't just about teeth, it's about a good quality of life. Jesse Anton, CBC News, Fort Qu'Appelle.
A new international ranking shows that math scores of Canadian students have continued to drop. The latest results from the Organization for Economic Cooperation's Program for International Student Assessment have been released. Karen Pauls has the details.
This test is done every 3 years, measuring how 15-year-olds do in math, science, and reading. Math was the focus this year. The results show Canadian math students are above average for OECD countries, but overall scores dropped between 2003 and 2022.
We're going to work through the multiplying and dividing questions first. And again,
1 in 5 Canadian students scored at the lowest levels. Newcomer students outperformed their non-immigrant peers. Boys did better than girls. There are differences between provinces. Students in Quebec scored the highest, while those in Newfoundland got the lowest scores.
Some of the provinces in the prairies, like Saskatchewan and Manitoba, were quite low in previous testing cycles. It looks now that, the latest results, some of the Atlantic provinces have dropped significantly.
This university math professor wants a back-to-basics approach.
First of all, we're not spending enough time on math in schools. And second of all, kids just aren't getting good instruction in a lot of cases. They're not getting explicit instruction. They're not getting enough practice, and that really needs to change. Math is more important now than ever, right? We have lots of jobs in technology and AI and STEM careers. These all rely on a strong foundation in math.
Provincial education ministers seem to agree.
We all have to up our game to refocus on those fundamental scores, those fundamental skills in literacy, mathematics, and science. If we want our Canadian graduates to succeed and get good jobs, then provinces across the country have to redouble efforts on going back to basics.
The report shows that students everywhere suffered historic setbacks in reading and math during the pandemic, but it cautions blaming everything on COVID-19 because the scores were already dropping. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, the Bridge City is starting to look a little more like a winter city. This is how things looked along the South Saskatchewan River in Saskatoon today. Things could get a little messy there over the next 24 hours. Ethan will have more in his forecast after the break. Stay with us. Snow and ice can be daunting for seniors and people with mobility issues, especially if they have dogs that need walking. A group in Regina called Dog Paws is pairing them with volunteer dog walkers.
Are you a good dog today? Oh, you're looking for treats, aren't you? I've had Josie for 3.5 years now. She's been my constant companion. And I love her, and I would surely miss her if I had to find another home for her, which is what I thought I would have to do. I thought I'd have to find a home for her because I have congestive heart failure now, and I wasn't doing very good for a while. With volunteers' help, they come. They've got a big thing with their picture on it that says that they're with this organization, so you know who's coming to your door. They have criminal records checks, and you can trust them to come in your house and take your pets and go off for a walk with your little dog and bring it back twice as happy.
If it can help a senior keep their dog at home and not have to give it up if they, for health reasons can't get out, I think it's important to be able to keep that association for people that want to keep their dogs but maybe can't get out and walk them. So I think it's a good idea all around. And it is just initiative just getting started, but hopefully it'll take off more.
We have quite a few people who are very excited to walk a dog and are very interested in helping us in that way for volunteering. But what we don't have are seniors who are signing up for our services. I'm hoping that as bad as this is going to sound, as the weather gets worse, we're going to end up getting some more people who would be interested in that, especially with the snow.
Did you have fun? Such a blessing to me. Really, she's just everything. I have no family. All my brothers and sisters have passed away. I have no children, no husband. I have Josie, and I thought I had to get rid of her, and that was very traumatic for me.
This weather update is brought to you by Titan Automotive, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
And our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. It's going to be rough for the walkies, for the dog walkies over the next couple days.
Yeah, definitely. If you're doing any dog walking, you're definitely going to want to be hardy when you go outside. You're going to want to enjoy the snow and the rain and the wind and everything that is in store. And just to give you a heads up on what's coming, well, here we go. We have freezing rain warnings that are in effect for central and western portions of the province, including the city of Saskatoon, as well over from the Melfort-Nipawin area all the way to Kindersley and up to Lloydminster. And a number of warnings as well in the Rocky Mountains and in portions of the interior of BC as well. Of course, this is all part of one big system that's bringing all this messy weather our way, and it is already starting. You can see that rain in portions of east central Alberta right now, beginning now just to move into our province, and we do have some mixing along the Yellowhead Highway just east of Lloydminster and moving through the rest of the warning area. So just how are things going to play out? Well, likely that freezing rain going to extend eastward through much of central Saskatchewan as we head through the later evening hours tonight and into early tomorrow morning. A separate band of rain then begins to develop as we head through the commute hours tomorrow morning in southern Saskatchewan. Temperatures here, though, are warmer, so we're less concerned about freezing rain in Regina and the south than we are with this system moving through central Saskatchewan. But you see here the rain changes over to snow as we get through tomorrow afternoon through the central part of the province as that rain begins to intensify and move southeastward, and then that band of snow intensifies as it moves eastward as well and moves through portions of east central and southeastern Saskatchewan. Still lingering a little bit by Friday before we get some clearing as we head into Saturday. So the weekend at least looking nice. Now with snowfall totals, the caveat here is that because we're getting some mixed precipitation, the ground is still warm in some places. And these amounts may not pan out to what we're actually seeing here, but I think all of us a shot at 5 to 10 centimeters, and especially so as you go through the northern grain belt and eastern sections of the province. This rainfall model does take into account snow, so you see some very heavy amounts on the eastern side of the province, but those are likely overshot. I think probably about 5 millimeters and maybe a little bit more than that is where a lot of us will top out at. And the other thing we're going to have to watch is Thursday night into Friday morning specifically. Winds begin picking up in the southern part of the province, and with snow still falling, that's likely going to cause visibility challenges as we head through those kind of next couple of days. So for Regina, I've put about 5 millimeters, 5 centimeters as an average amount here of what we're going to see. Keep in mind that on Friday is just some windy snow in the morning before we clear out, and the temperatures drop off as we head into the beginning of next week. Saskatoon, we could see again between 5 and 10 centimeters tomorrow. And then Friday, that system has completely moved out. Not quite as windy for you folks. And then temperatures dropping for you as well. So just kind of a blip on the map here, Sam, with a little bit of a messy day. And then after that, the clear skies return.
Not going to lie to you, I'm a little afraid of that windy snow.
Yeah, it looks a little menacing.
A little aggressive. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Well, Swifties now have another big reason to celebrate. Taylor Swift has been named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. It's been a complete love story for her this year, and the U.S. superstar's influence has reached new heights. Her Eras concert tour is on track to be the highest grossing tour of all time. Swift has also released 2 more albums in her songbook this year as well. We'll be back after the break. One of the most influential figures in American television has died. Producer Norman Lear developed groundbreaking social comedies like All in the Family and The Jeffersons. Aaron Collins has more on Lear's career, life, and legacy.
At its best, television reflects its audience back to it, airing difficult conversations going on around dinner tables.
When the hell are you going to admit that the war was wrong? I ain't talking about that war. I don't want to talk about that goddamn war no more.
Over a career that spanned decades, Norman Lear did just that. From war to America's lingering struggles with race, the legendary producer put it all on TV.
Lionel! Martin Luther King helped accomplish a lot for our people. Oh, sure he tried, but what did he really accomplish? I mean, nothing's changed.
Born in Connecticut, before working in TV, Lear was a gunner on a bomber in the Second World War.
Oh, yeah, what?
By 1971, he'd found his calling, producing All in the Family for CBS. The show revolved around a working-class family in New York. Edgy for its time, it took on contentious issues from homosexuality to abortion. That approach, a product of Lear's own upbringing.
I lived in a house where everybody didn't get along and everybody had their own problems. Across from neighbors, down the street from neighbors, up the street from other neighbors had problems that we were dealing with.
We are the Jeffersons.
Lear produced a spin-off to All in the Family focused on a prosperous black family. Over its 10-year run, the Jeffersons put America's racial divide in the spotlight.
Good God, you're black.
Over the next decade, Lear produced a string of hit TV shows from Good Times
Happy, bright, narrow man and pure dynamite!
to One Day at a Time. Changing the face of American television along the way.
Norman Lear has held up a mirror to American society and changed the way we look at it.
While his work shifted the way Americans saw themselves, Lear hoped it would change television too.
My hope for the future of television is that it will take itself as seriously as it is taken.
Norman Lear was 101 years old. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
And Ethan's back with one last look at your weather.
And quite an active next few hours we're expecting. In Regina tonight, maybe a little bit of fog before the system really kicks off. Temperature dropping a little bit as we head through the night tonight, but we'll be around the freezing mark by the time we hit tomorrow morning. Keep in mind, it'll be mostly cloudy. There is a chance of showers, and then it's really by the time we get to the noon hour, those showers will be kind of firmly in place. We'll be sitting just above freezing, so not as concerned about the freezing rain in Regina as we are in Saskatoon, where that likely gets underway tonight, sitting around freezing or so, still going by the time we hit 8 a.m. tomorrow. The wind's picking up a little bit as well, and then by the time we hit the noon hour, that rain has largely transitioned over to snow. Wind's still a little bit breezy, so tomorrow, Sam, a good one to maybe check the highway hotline before you head out.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And before we leave you tonight, it was a special afternoon for some deserving children and Regina police officers. It was the 7th annual COP Shop holiday shopping spree at the Cornwall Centre. 20 kids were paired up with police officers. Each child received a $200 gift card donated by the Cornwall Centre and a stocking filled with personalized items. Not only did 12-year-old Peyton get to enjoy some pizza before the shopping trip, he also had help from his police partner to get a necklace he had his eye on.
I felt I could buy something for my mom and I could get like a free jacket, and my dad and mom was really happy about that because I don't really wear winter jackets that much. I wear like sweaters a bunch, and that's like pretty much all. I was like just very, very happy.
So they're given a gift card supplied by the Cornwall Centre that they can use at any of the stores in the mall to be able to buy things for themselves. What we really find is that kids come with a list of, they want to buy for their brother, their sister. I was just talking to a child who said he's got a 2-week-old baby sister, and so he's going to buy something for her. And then also, thanks to the generous support of sponsors, they get a winter coat and winter boots as well.
TRIP staff and school resource officers. TRIP is the Regina Intersectional Partnership, and it focuses on community supports for kids and families who are vulnerable or at risk. The day was a reward for the hard work that these kids have done, making positive strides toward goals that they've set. The presents are gift wrapped for students at the end of the day, so they can literally go home and put presents under the tree. And that is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/Sask or Saskatoon, subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app on your phone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.